Hello. The power and influence of business owners, that is the topic for today. I'm just waiting to make sure I have gone live. Hello. The power and influence of business owners. Let me just double check I have gone live, which can sometimes take. There I am. Now let me just wait to see if my sound is working. Beautiful. My sound is also working. That is fantastic. Now I'm going to make sure I leave that on. Last week I couldn't see comments on my screen, so I had to leave my phone open to see comments. See, there's a comments box there. If you are joining me, please say hello. Even if you are on the replay, please put in hashtag replay and come and be part of this conversation. Just because you may not be here live doesn't mean it's still not active. It doesn't mean that all the energy and intention is still not in it. And it certainly does not mean that if you ask questions or have comments that I won't come back and check on them and answer them, because I absolutely will. So if you are following along and you are part of the conversation, please let me know that you're there, because I absolutely love seeing who's coming along the journey with me, who is listening, who is learning, and what's going on for you. Okay, so as I said earlier, the topic for today is power and influence, the power and influence of business owners. I'm just going to adjust my screen a little bit now so I can make sure I have my notes up, because I actually want to make sure I get everything covered in it that I said that I would get covered in this particular live. Beautiful. Okay, so before we begin, let me fix my little back support up, because my back has been a bit sore lately. I also have a child at home unwell today, so there might be a little bit of coughing and sneezing and spluttering in the background. This also why I have got this on rather than my good mic, so you're not picking up all those little noises, those little slobbery ones. So before we begin, I'd like to give an acknowledgement of country. I, Louise O'Reilly of the Wadawurrung and Noongar people, would like to pay respects to the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation as the traditional custodians, the ongoing custodians of the lands and waters on which I am coming to you from. I pay deep respects to them, to the elders, and thank them for everything they do. In all the different realms, in the physical realm, in the community realm, in the spiritual realm, in every single space, I'm so grateful and appreciative and respectful in those spaces. Can you let me know where you're coming to me from? What Aboriginal lands are you joining me from? Do you know the First Nations countries that you're on? If you do, please let me know. I would like to pay respects to those custodians too, and I would also like to pay respects to the elders in those places and spaces, in whatever title they refer to themselves there. Okay, so if you are here in this world, in the Facebook world, a way to help me share my message of inclusion, share my message of equitability, of acceptance, of belonging, of authentic expression, all those beautiful, wonderful things, and ultimately freedom and liberation. They're my big whys, freedom and liberation. In order to help me share that message, things like commenting, things like reactions and shares really do help in this world. So I appreciate it if you resonate with what I'm saying. Please share it on, interact with this in some way so that others may be able to see it too. Okay, so let's get into the subject at hand. Okay, the power and influence of business owners. So this is what I'm doing weekly, and I might skip over a few bits and pieces. if there is something in here you're not quite understanding how I got to that particular point, over the last few weeks I have been talking about all the bits that kind of lead up to this. So you're more than welcome to go back through and have a look at the past weekly lives that I've been doing. And if you are a little bit confused, please pop in the chat box. I can send you the Facebook Live to watch, or I can answer you on the spot. So if there's anything that you're kind of like, how on earth did you get there? Pop that in. I want to just make sure when I'm not covering everything from the very beginning in every single live. Okay, so something that I want to talk with you about is how to know what your power and influence is as a business owner. Now, when you're talking about power influence, what you're talking about is privilege. So we are living in Australia, in this land commonly known as Australia, a privileged system, and it's our societal system that we operate under. And that particular system, I'm going to knock that over if I keep going, and that particular system basically says there are all these categories or communities of people, and within each of those categories of people, there are people in this current system who are considered better than or less than. And with that, all the people who are on the end that is suggested to be better than, they are the privileged end of that spectrum, the privileged end of that scale. Now, that privilege equates to power in our current system. Now, that power translates to influence or potential to influence. And by influence, I mean influence the way people think, influence what people believe, influence people's behavior. And people who hold more power have more power to influence. So I hope you can understand where I'm going with that power and influence space. Privilege equates to power, which equates to influence or potential to influence. Now, what we can move on to is, how do you know where you have the greatest potential to influence positive social change? Because let's face it, if you are here, if you're in my world, you're a business owner who wants to be an ally. You're a business owner who wants to be inclusive. You want to be accessible. You want to be part of creating positive social change. You can see the injustices that are happening. You can see the privilege system. You can see how some people are treated better than other people. You can see like all of these little bits and pieces, and you don't like it. You don't want it. And you recognize that you're part of this too, that you choosing to be part of the positive change is the thing that's going to start creating the positive change. So you want to be part of that. Now, how you can know where your greatest potential is for influencing people to think differently about the way we're doing stuff. Either if you're a business owner who works with other businesses, either influencing other business owners to consider or think about, how are they being inclusive? Are they being inclusive? Is there spaces in their business which maybe they need to up level that inclusivity, or they haven't even considered? Is there spaces where maybe they're not being as respectful as they could be, or they're not being as accessible as they could be, or equitable as they could be? As a business owner, you do have the potential to influence your clients, if they be business owners or if they just be individual clients. You have the power to influence them to think about those things. And how you know where your greatest potential for influence is what I'm calling layering. So in that privilege system I was talking about just before, there are all these different spectrums of privilege. So there is things like racism, colorism, ageism, Eurocentrism, educationalism, politics of appearance, language bias. I don't even know what I've missed out, but there's so many. There are so many spectrums of privilege that you can have. And if you have a look at each of the ones where you on that particular spectrum are in the privileged section, you can say, okay, I actually have the power and influence, potential to influence in this particular space. And then what you can start to do is go, okay, well, that's one of those spectrums. Okay, and here's another spectrum that I also have. I am at the privileged end. Put that on top, and then go through each of those, put them on top, and layer them on top of each other. If there is a space that exists that has a cross section of all of those, you have so much power in that space. You are a person who people who are in that space will look up to. You will be respected in that space. What you think matters in that space. What you say matters in that space, because you are, socially speaking, considered a very powerful person in that space. And so you can look at, if you do need help with this, please DM me and say, look, I'm not quite sure about the layering section on how to layer, and I can run you very quickly on how to look at your own layering. And this is very unique to every individual, so I can't just go, here's the cookie cutter, you fit yourself into this and this is how it is. It's very individual to you. It's very individual to your business. So we can look at your individual layering and then look at where you have the greatest potential for influencing positive social change, because with that, you can do some amazing things. So let me know in the comments if that is landing for you. What is going on in your mind? Is this making it a bit simpler to understand the spaces where you have the power to influence positive social change, where you will be seen, you will be heard because of the privilege system? Because essentially what we're doing here is we are using the privilege system in a way as a tool to dismantle itself. Ooh, I love the irony of it. It is so, we are dissolving the privilege system. We are dismantling the privilege system with privilege itself. It's amazing. Okay, so the next thing I want to cover with you is how to actually harness your privilege and your power to create meaningful social impact in a practical way. So the first thing we need to look at is actually choice. Because even though my life's work is to create a more inclusive world and do things that stimulate the creation of more inclusion through the world, my end goal is freedom, and the way I want to do it is through liberation, liberating you from the privilege system. It's about choice. And I will never tell people this is something they should believe in. This is something they must do. I have no expectations of anyone changing their beliefs or changing their behaviors. What I'm here to do is to share this beautiful, share this beautiful vision that I have of an inclusive world where everyone feels safe and free to be themselves, to express themselves, to live their cultures and have representation and have things be accessible to all people, for there to be no categories where there's people who are better than or less than, to have a society where it's actually not normal or okay to treat people badly, to deny people human rights, to mistreat people. That's the world where everyone is accepted, they belong, they are loved, they are cherished for their similarities, for their differences, and it's all just so rich and beautiful. That's the kind of world that I want. And if that inspires you and makes you go, yes, that's what I want too, I am here to show you how we can get to that space. This is what I'm showing you a way. It's a way. It's not the way. It's a way to do it. And if it feels good to you, you can come along here. And so this is where your own autonomy comes in. Does this feel good to you? Does this feel aligned to you? Is it resonating with you? Because if it is, you have a choice now. You can, and this, everyone has a choice in this once they know. It is, if you continue to live life the way society has groomed us to, conditioned us to, that conditioning has been built and systematically been introduced, exposed to us, taught to us in a way that makes sure the privilege system is maintained. And with that maintenance, you can just be. And because we have been taught since we've been born how to exist in this privileged system, it's easy. It's just like breathing. It comes down to everything. The thoughts that we have, our unconscious biases that we have. It comes down to the types of language we use, the types of things we eat, the kinds of body language we use, all of it. We've all been taught all these things, and it's so easy. But when you have that choice, you can continue on that. And if you continue on that, if we continue on that trajectory, that is when the system is maintained. That's when the oppression is maintained. It is when that privileged system and the mistreatment and exclusion and marginalization remains. It's the maintenance and the upholding of the privileged system. On the other hand, you can see the system and how it's all kind of interlinked. And believe me, there are so many different layers to this that even now I'm sometimes realizing with myself that there are layers of me that are so deeply entrenched in the privileged system that I didn't realize I was being influenced by that system. I am no guru, but I'm sharing my experiences, my knowledge, and especially my experiences as an Aboriginal woman, someone who is quite marginalized in this space. And so with this choice, you can do that, or you can choose to harness the privileged system and use it in a way to dissolve the system itself. Use it in a way to dismantle the system itself. And that is completely your choice. And there is no expectation. There is nothing of the sort. It is your choice in how you wish to move forward with that. So I do want to say that you are here to know, to make the stuff that you do meaningful. So if you do choose to harness the privileged system in a way to create positive social change, it's good to know that you're actually here for a reason. You've created your business for a particular reason. You're alive for a particular reason. And it is the reason that you feel drawn to. It's the reason that feels like is calling to you. There is something, and especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner and you've created something, you've seen something in the world that needs to change, that you've just gone, no, this is not okay, this is not right, this isn't working. And you've created something to solve that problem. You've created something to change that situation. So that's part of it. And looking deeper into that why you have done it really helps to make it impactful and meaningful. Looking at things like your value system. What are your values? What is the thing that you want to be creating in the world? What's your inclusive vision for the world? Looking at There might be certain social movements that are so deeply important to you. If you have all those and you're looking at, okay, where is the cross sections? Let's do like a Venn diagram. Where does all those intersections cross over? That space where all those things cross over, I so need to do a diagram for this. I will share that diagram. If you have a look at where the crossover is, that's where you personally, you as a unique individual, you as a unique business are going to create phenomenal social change. It's going to be meaningful. It's going to be impactful because it's coming from within. It's inspired from within you and your reason for being. That's powerful. It's not something that's coming on the outside and is influencing you or triggering you or motivating you from the outside, where if that stimulus, that outside stimulus stops existing, your energy with it dies off as well. So that's how I define the difference between motivation and inspiration. Inspiration is that inside internal drive. It's a fire in your belly. It's a thing that's important to you. It's the thing that no matter what happens, it's important to you. You will always talk about it. You will always care about it. And you will continue caring and talking about it until the thing changes. That inspiration, that space is where you have meaningful influence. Okay, off soapbox. So how is that going? Let me know in the comments. How does that feel? What are your values? Tell me about your business. What are your values? Tell me about the things, the social impact movements or social change movements that are important to you. Tell me about all those bits and pieces. Tell me about what you want the world to be. What is that value, that overarching value? For me, it's freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom. That's my overarching value. That's what I'm seeking. That's what I'm searching for, freedom. And this is how I'm looking to create it. Let's have a look at what yours are. And you can just ask yourself the question. And sometimes it can take a little bit of work. Sometimes it needs a little bit of experience, a little bit of asking, a little bit of journaling, a little bit of meditating, whatever it is. Sometimes it just takes a little bit to uncover that within ourselves, what our big overarching thing is. But we will kind of know because we will think of some of those values and we will feel good. That's our internal compass. That's our internal guide telling us whether we're on track or not track, on track or not. Okay. So let me know in the comments how that's all going. I would really, really love to hear about it. Now, the thing with this is, let me know, has this made it simpler to understand your power and your influence? Has this made it simpler to understand the spaces where you have the greatest potential for creating positive social change? Has this made it simpler in knowing how you can create meaningful and impactful positive change? And it all can be done through your business as well. Let me know how that is going. And while you know all of this, some of the things that you don't get from just knowing stuff. You don't get the confidence to start taking inclusive action. It is knowing and doing are two completely different things. You also don't get awareness to unconscious biases that you might have. And it's really, really important to be working on and becoming aware of those unconscious biases. Because if you aren't taking note and doing the work to uncover those biases, when you are intending to be inclusive, sometimes those unconscious biases come out, and they can potentially cause unintentional harm to marginalized communities because of how we've been taught to use our language, because of how we've been taught to view different groups of people, because of how we've been taught in everything in our life, there is potential to cause unintentional harm. What it doesn't do is it doesn't help you unpack your privilege. It doesn't help you identify, okay, so you've got the scales and you've gone, okay, yes, I'm privileged in this, I'm privileged in this, all these different spectrums of privilege and oppression. But what it doesn't help you to do is unpack what that means for you as a person, what it means for you as a business owner. And it doesn't help you to understand how it contributes to you participating in the system. And it also doesn't help you to broaden your paradigm of understanding of different ways of doing things in business, of doing different things in life, different things that will dissolve that privilege system, that will dismantle that privilege system. It also doesn't tell you the best actions, the best ways for you to take that inclusive action. It doesn't tell you the best actions and words to say to create that positive social change. It just tells you the spaces that you have the greatest potential for influence. It also doesn't give you a process that allows you to know exactly what to do or say. It doesn't do that. And what it also doesn't do is give you support, a community, a space where you belong, a space where it's okay for you to unpack that privilege, where it's okay for you to recognize and realize some unconscious biases. And sometimes they're shocking to us. Sometimes they come out, and I know even myself, I've had them come out and I have been disgusted. I cannot believe that was hiding in me. It's okay to have them, a space where that's okay, to have that support, to have people there supporting you, cheering you on. Now, I'm here giving you this knowledge, right? And I don't want you to feel like, oh, that was really exciting, but now I feel deflated. I want you to know that is possible. You can have all these things and it can be done, but I actually don't want you to do it alone. I want you to do it with me, and I want you to do it with other business owners. And this is why I have the Inclusion Creators Collective membership. All of those things that this life hasn't covered, I do that all in the Inclusion Creators Collective. I support you through all of those things. I support you in being aware of those unconscious biases. I support you and teach you how to have the confidence. I teach you in how to speak in a way that is not going to cause conflict or confrontation. I share how to unpack privilege, how to recognize different things. I teach you how to expand that paradigm of understanding of how our world works. I give you the processes. I give you the support. I hold the space for you. I do all of those beautiful things in the Inclusion Creators Collective, because this conversation, this work is so much bigger than a single live. It is an ongoing thing. It is something that we are unlearning so much stuff. We've had a lifetime of learning to live in a privileged system, in this privileged system. We've had a lifetime of being conditioned to live this way. And it's going to take some support, some conscious effort, definitely doing the work to unravel this, to unpack it, to become aware of it, and to come up with new inclusive ways that are actually going to create the world that you want to live in. So with that, I do want to invite you to the Inclusion Creators Collective membership, to learn a little bit more about it and just to chat, to just see whether it's something you want to be part of. Now, I actually have tomorrow, if you're watching today, so today is the 22nd of February, 2023. If you're watching today, tomorrow I'm actually hosting an unconscious bias workshop. And the topic that I'm going to be covering tomorrow is on Indigenous peoples of the world. The next thing I'm going to be hosting in the membership is on the 3rd of March 2023, and it is a live workshop for members on business privilege and influencing positive social change. And then on the 7th of March, I'm going to be hosting a live group call, and that's where all members are welcome to come. Is where you can ask all your questions that you have. Now, in that space, I am both coach and mentor, because I need to swap between hats depending on the topics we're talking about, but I am coach and mentor in that particular space. Now, as it stands, the membership is $99 a month. If you want access to those, that's just what I'm doing over the next month. If you want access to those, you can come and jump in for 1 month. That is absolutely fine to do that, and you're most welcome to do that. $99 for that month. Or you can commit to something longer. You can do a 6 months. If you're wanting to work with me, it's for 6 months in the Inclusion Creators Collective. That is $594 Australian. And these are Australian dollars, they're not US dollars, Australian dollars. And for 1 year, it is 1,188. Oh, that's terrible. I am so I'm so bad. The thing is, it's $99 a month. I don't have additional payments for payment plans. You come in, you pay whatever frequency you like, and there is no additional fees on any of those payment plans at all. Now, if this is something that interests you, you just want to hear a little bit more about it, completely obligation free, you just want to chat with me and talk over it to see if it is something that you might be interested in being part of, please feel free to book a clarity call with me. Now, to do that, just pop #clarity in the comments and I will send you a link to book a chat with me. And it's 30-minute chat with me. I'll ask you a bunch of questions to make sure the space that I have created is something that's going to be beneficial to you. I'm wanting people to be in that space that have empowered yeses. It's like, yes, 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 I want to be part of this. I love this so much. That's the people I want in the space. Now, if through that clarity call, I realize this maybe isn't quite the space for you, or maybe there are other resources, and I have loads of free resources, or low cost free resources. I will say, actually, maybe it's best if you go this way and complete this thing first, and then we can come back and have a chat. This space is very intentional, and I'm holding it very, very closely and very intentionally, very consciously, because this is absolutely an amazing, phenomenal space. So if you're interested in that, pop #clarity in the comments and I will message you a booking link to have a chat with me. Okay, so that is all from me for today. I hope you have found this interesting. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to interact in some way with this so that it is spread amongst your networks. Please also feel free to share it. Press that share button, share it with people you think might be interested in listening to this. And that is all from me today. Sending you so much love, and bye for now.